Welcome to the Holistic Health Show, where the worlds of science and spirituality converge to illuminate a path towards total well-being. Join us as we embark on a journey to bridge the gap between Western medicine and complementary therapies, offering you a roadmap to embrace a proactive, holistic approach to your health. It's time to empower yourself with choices that nurture your body, mind, and soul. Welcome to a world of infinite possibilities for your optimal health. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Holistic Health Show. Thank you for joining me again today. Today we have Christine Maudy on the show. Christine is a Reiki and shamanic practitioner and also a past lives regression teacher and therapist. Welcome, Christine.
Yes, thank you, Amy. Lovely to be on your show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to have you on. This is a completely new topic to me. I've heard kind of little bits about it in passing, really. It's not something I have any personal experience with. So I'm pretty excited to learn everything I can from you today.
Good, fabulous. Yeah, well, past life regression is an amazing topic, and I actually discovered more about past life giving Reiki to one of my patients, and I saw him in a past life, in another body, in another life, and it was
Wow.
really the reason for his problem. So yeah, it really triggered me to go back to some books and things that I read in the past, and then of course the right teacher can.
It's so interesting that you mentioned that, this kind of came to you while you were doing Reiki. I've been finding the more people that I'm chatting to through the podcast and through learning the different modalities that they're also interconnected oftentimes that they really work well with each other and one modality will often lead into another.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I think, when we are basically in the flow, the right things just manifest. I had a deep interest for past life long time ago. I was still living in Paris. So I've been in Australia now 27 years. And I remember reading the first book of Brian Weiss, many lives, many masters. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating. And again, then, this big spiritual awakening, moving to Australia, discovering shamanism and then Reiki. And,
Mhm.
I think when I had this incredible experience of seeing this young man, he was actually suffering from insomnia and nightmares. And he told,
Oh,
that's
wow.
why he came for Reiki treatment. And he told me, it's really weird. My life is perfect. I never had any problem in my childhood. Everything was pretty cool, pretty easy. But every night, I really am afraid to go to sleep because most of the night
Oh,
I
gosh.
see a lot of blood and horrors. I feel like, I've been going through awful things. So yeah, so, we all know that Reiki is fabulous for insomnia and deep relaxation. So
Mm.
I started my treatment and immediately I saw him. I saw him wearing,
Wow.
a uniform and knew it was the First World War. And he was walking basically like a ghost, really pale, very,
Wow.
very afraid. And he was wearing, a rifle on his shoulder, and he was walking in these fields with a lot like a kind of fog. And then the fog, and I
Mhm.
was really puzzled to see this image. And then the fog just lifted and there were dead bodies everywhere,
Wow.
soldiers,
So
dead.
traumatic.
So I finished my treatment. I didn't talk to him, only at the end doing the little nentatsu, the gentle reprogramming. I just said something about letting go of the past and when I brought him back to the surface, he started to cry. He was sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And he said, Christine, it's really strange. I saw myself wearing a uniform and I knew I was dead because my foot was near my ear. So basically, he had been, blown up. And yeah, and that was this memory of losing his friends, of being on this battlefield very young that kept coming back. He never had a nightmare after. So, I
So
sort
this
of,
this past,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
sorry, this
incredible
past was
how, yeah.
manifesting in his current life, I guess. Is that
Yeah,
kind of
and
the idea there?
it's very often
Yeah.
the case. So you see people coming for past life some just by interest, because of course we learn more about our soul, and our soul journey and why we came in this present life and in this body and choosing this family and so on. But even when they just come by, by curiosity, they discover things about themselves and about their life that is often life changing. It can be really amazing. I remember the psychologist. She had learned Reiki with me, and she came and she said, I'm really curious, and eventually I want to learn hypnotherapy. So we were talking before her past life regression session, and I said, do you have any other questions that just being curious to explore one of your past lives? And she said, yeah, there is one thing that really puzzled me is that, I'm 35, I'm looking, quite good. I'm quite happy with myself. I have lots of men friends, but they just look at me like a good mate. No man ever approached me like a potential partner. And she said,
Wow.
I reached a time in my life when I would love to have, a partner. So we started the regression, and, it was a past life, quite interesting in the end of the 1800s. And eventually she, the man she loved died, and she was not married yet. And her dad wanted her to marry someone else. And she didn't want to because she was really grieving her, someone she felt was her soulmate. So she escaped. And, for a long time, she was really like, going from one place to another. And then she found refuge in a convent. And eventually she
Oh.
became a nun. So she was still
Oh, wow.
carrying the vibration of having been a nun and having had vows of chastity. And as soon
Wow.
as we worked with the past life, it stopped. It was really funny because we became quite good friends. She studied for quite a long time with me. And she said, after a couple of weeks, I received a text message and she said, well, Christine, I'm at uni. And guess what? I've been already asked
Yeah.
twice for coffee by a lovely guy. And Saturday we are going for dinner.
That's
So yeah,
beautiful.
yes, really. And
That's a
stories
great
like this,
result.
so many stories like this. And also, physical pain sometimes, sometimes people have disease, physical pain that no one can explain. But it can come from, a brutal death or a death that where they were not conscious and the imprint stays in the luminous energy field. So yeah, it's really
Really
quite,
makes you think how conscious you have to be in your current life, how it can
of
impact
course,
your
yeah,
future. Yeah.
yeah.
I just wanted to know, for someone like me who has never done a session like this or sat one, what would I expect kind of walking into the room? What would kind of happen?
Yeah. So a session can take up to 3 hours, and sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more. And what happens is I have a conversation with the person coming, about the person that are important for them in this life or have been important positively or negatively. And also any questions they have. So it can be, I have this pain in my back that no one can explain, or nightmares when I go to sleep, or phobia of water, so many different things. And then we go in my healing room, they lay down, and I use an induction with hypnosis. So it's a form of hypnotherapy where the person is really relaxed, when we can basically access their subconscious mind, but where they are still conscious. So, it's even if they need to drink or to go to the toilets, I can easily take them out of the hypnosis and bring them back. And then we start going backwards. So we start going, first I take them through a journey through a couple of moments in their childhood. And it's just to basically help the subconscious mind to go to the past. And then we ask to be shown a past life real event for them today, that it's going to help them to have a higher level of consciousness and maybe heal, relationship or many different things. And during this past life, so depending on the level of spiritual development of the person, it can be also in the first session, can be like, like little snippet, little flashes or little pieces of like a play at the theater where you see different scenes, who you are, you can be involved, or just look at what's happening and move them from from one moment to another one. So we move to different moments in their life. Or it can really become, I did one not a long time ago with one of my students who needed to practice. So I say, I'm your body. And she gave me a past life regression and soul regression, which is in between, in between lives. And it was
Yeah.
amazing. And for me, it was basically like a movie. I was really in the
So
past life.
I wanted to ask, you mentioned it was like a movie. So is the person that's undergoing this treatment, your client, are they seeing this like a dream? Are they watching it in front of them? How is it? How is that
Well,
visualized?
it's
Because they're not
basically
asleep,
like
right?
you, yeah, it's really like no, they are not asleep. They really see it. They live it. They know it's a past life regression. So even if they are,
Mm,
you know, assaulted or they die in a difficult situation, they still have emotions, but they know it's not happening right now. So they don't go back through
mm,
something terrible.
right.
And basically, it's exactly like when you give a treatment or you do meditation and you see with your third eye. So, it's really, it's just coming through your inner eyes vision. And yeah, and you can, for me, the last few past lives I did were absolutely amazing. I could smell, I could touch,
Mm,
I could experience.
wow.
I had relation with people. It's just fabulous. So really quite amazing. And you can also, not only it's a healing modality, but you learn about your soul journey. You can ask questions. Why I'm here today? What did I come to do? What's my purpose? And we cover
Yeah.
gifts. We cover things like you were doing before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds, while very beneficial for anyone going through something or needing to recover, also just a curiosity of knowing what was my past and
Yeah.
how has that impacted me now, and what I wonder, could you even use that information to kind of modify maybe what you're doing now to better impact or have less of a negative
Of
impact
course.
on, the future lives as
Yeah.
well.
Of course. Of
Yeah, it's
course.
very
Of
interesting.
course. And also it changes, I think it really erases fear. A lot of people fear to
Mm,
die. When you
yeah.
experience death in one or several past lives, that you're not the body. We keep
Yeah,
saying this in yoga and all
or
the
more.
spiritual tradition that we are not the body. We don't have to be attached really to this life. Of course, when we die and we die consciously, it's difficult to let go all of the one. Or if they died before us, there is emotions, of course, because we love them and we are loved. But we know that a lot of people we will have another life with them. Like the recent life that I had where I was actually a Black African woman. And my daughter in the life I was visiting, my youngest daughter was already my daughter. And one of my, the man who taught me to use plant and help people die, actually help their soul transition to the other world, was my Reiki master in this life. So it's really
Wow.
quite interesting that, you reconnect with different people. And then there is this moment where you are visiting a past life and, I guide people to the moment where they die. So that's where a lot of healing happen, because if there are any imprints in the physical body, you can clear them. If there are any unresolved relationships, you can
So
bring
closure, it
forgiveness.
helped you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really quite amazing. And also you can, when you ascend and you go to the kingdom of the souls, you can ask questions and you can sometimes
Okay.
receive amazing, amazing really upgrade of your energy fields because your guide is there for you, and you find very often yourself with the counsel of your guides and you can ask so many questions and get, really very empowering answers. It's really fabulous. So it's really an important part. That's why we do two treatments. The first one is past life. And we go to the moment where we died, and often we go a bit in the kingdom of the soul to receive healing and so on. But I also do, soul regression therapy, which is basically the life between lives. So where you can even stay longer in the kingdom of the souls and ask so many questions and receive, really an uplifting of your vibration and all these kind of things.
So when you say the life between life, that's kind of between reincarnation, I suppose? Is
Exactly.
that
Exactly. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Between
Wow.
reincarnation.
I wanted to just ask, and you touched on it briefly, but when going back and seeing these traumatic events, you mentioned that the person is aware that's not happening now.
Yes.
So they're essentially not reliving that. But does that sometimes really bring up, I don't know, could it cause some PTSD seeing this happening to yourself in another life?
But
Or
this
could it
PTSD,
or is it
it
just
can
that you're so
cause.
aware?
Yeah, it can really cause some strong emotional reaction, especially when people have been killed or killed someone or, lost someone really important. But, I'm here as a guide. So I'm here
Yeah.
to move them a bit, after and just get the lesson of this image,
Get
the
through that.
essence.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not doing this alone, and you need to work with
Mm.
someone with experience, of course.
Yeah.
But you don't go, and it has happened many times that I had moved people past, the moment of their death or, past. I remember I had this image of one of my clients who actually saw, the entire village being burned, including her family, her
Wow.
husband and her two
Wow.
children. So yes, that was pretty traumatic, and just learning, bringing back to the conscious mind was she was really crying, but that it
Yeah.
was okay, and I moved there a bit after, and then we could see the parallel between her
Mm.
life and the past life. So she was actually married with children. She didn't
Mm.
want to engage. She didn't want to love too
Ah.
much. So she was
Yeah.
always, escaping. And it really changed her life because she was fearing that she will have this pain again.
Yeah. And I suppose, while very traumatic, that's the event that's impacting life now. So, addressing it, going through that again is really important to move
Yeah.
forward.
And it's like, yeah, it's really life
Mm.
changing. So many people tell me after a session, yeah, absolutely life changing. And I know for myself, having been the one, having the journey, how amazing it is. And it really brings a deep level of peace.
Yeah, and I just can't help but wonder, even if you don't feel as though you have a particular illness or you're aware of, something that you need addressing, just participating in this event, might bring up I'm just thinking in the way of if you're suffering imposter syndrome or you're really worried about, you have a lack of confidence in something, that even experiencing a past life regression like this could find out, well, this is actually something that's happened before, and here's, what you need to work through to kind of move
Yes, of
past that.
course. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're
Yeah.
touching something very important because a lot of people who had, abuse, for example, sometimes we produce it because they didn't
Mhm.
solve the problem in the past life. So it starts again. And,
I see.
people who are very unhappy, who had a lot of health problem, never took their power. They come back
Mm.
to solve the same problem. So yeah,
Wow.
it's really quite fascinating that at one stage, they feel that something needs to change and they are guided, to do a past life. And after trying many, many things, and it just pinpoint exactly the problem and it's gone. So yeah,
Yeah.
so many stories, many, many
I can
stories.
imagine. Yeah.
Once
I can.
many stories. Yeah. Yeah,
I think we could probably sit here all day and just talk about the results that you would have seen. It must just be remarkable to
yeah,
witness
it
and be a
is.
part
It
of.
is. Actually, there is a fascinating book for, you and your listeners, uh, written by Brian Weiss. That's a book he did actually with his daughter, because Brian Weiss discovered past life by, you know, almost by mistake without really
Okay.
willing. He was a psychiatrist and that's the story of his first book. And he was working with a patient who had many phobias, many fears of so many things. And the traditional way he was working as a psychiatrist was not working. So one day he said, next time you come, I'm going to try hypnotherapy. Is that okay with you? And she said, yes. She had
Well.
few of the phobia of water. She, so many agoraphobia, so many problems. She was basically handicapped. And
Mm.
she came and he started hypnotherapy and immediately she described past life. And he was
Wow.
really surprised. So he didn't really know what
I would
to
imagine.
do. And the
Yeah, that
second
would have been something
session,
to experience.
and the second session, she went in another past life. But this time, because he
Wow.
had the time to think about, he decided to guide her through different moments and especially to guide her to the moment of her death. And it basically explained one of the phobia. And the phobia, when she came back, was not good.
God.
So
Wow.
he said, okay, I'm really interested. There is something I want to learn. So he asked her, are you willing to, to keep going until it's
Mm.
up and for me to really record all this? And she said, yes. So that's how his first book was created. Many, many lives, many masters. And then he actually changed career. So from a psychiatrist, he became a past life regression therapist and then teachers. And the book he wrote after with his daughter, we became a past life regression therapist as well, was called Miracles Happen. So in this book, they describe all the healing benefit of many, many, many of their cases. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I've written
it's
them down. I'll check those out.
yeah, you'll love it. It's fascinating. So there are many people that are very famous and brought so much light on past lives, like Dolores Cannon. So many people, and yeah, Newton. Uh, Lots of books to read and lots of things to learn. But yeah, it's really changes everything, knowing that that your soul has already experienced different life. Sometimes I do a past life and to a woman and she's a man in the past life because you're not always,
Oh, yeah.
the same sex
Why
or the
not?
same, color of skin or whatever. And it's
And
often a very interesting experience.
maybe this is really out there, but has anybody ever not been a human? I mean, could you have been an animal? Or do we stay kind of within the
I
same
never
species?
had anyone become, being an animal, but I had people coming from other planets, from other dimension.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
Wow.
we know if you, read a lot about what's happening in the world, there are a lot of, different people on the earth and a lot of them came to help and they are coming from other dimension. So you have, people from Lemuria, from different planet and stars that are living there at the moment. So yeah, I had a lot of time. I had people who described, that they were not from the earth, and they described their life, and that was quite interesting as well. Very, very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah,
Probably very
yeah,
surprising as well to anyone who's kind of not already in that sort of
yeah,
not in that world already. It must be, yeah, really surprising. I can't imagine being that
yeah.
man, having never heard of past life regression, and then suddenly, finding himself experiencing this with the client
Yeah.
of his.
So
That must have been
interestingly, I mean,
something.
that very often these people who don't really belong to the earth and are, brought here, they always felt that they were not fitting. They always felt
Uh,
they were different. So it's a good relief for them to know that,
mm,
and they feel very often a longing of being able to go back. So knowing, I'm just having
they have
shivers,
something to connect
uh,
with.
knowing that,
Yeah, yeah.
it will happen, it's such a relief for them because some of them are still connected. They receive telepathic message and they know, but some, especially the youngest ones, sometimes are not yet awakened to that. And they feel what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here, they feel completely different. They don't fit in anything. So yeah, it's really quite interesting.
Christine, thanks for sharing all of that. It certainly must be a relief for anybody who's really just unsure or feeling a bit ill fit in the world. So, quite a relief, I guess, to anyone listening who may feel that way, or to those that you have already encountered. It's very interesting to hear that, and I hope that anybody who does certainly feel that way watches and reaches out and kind of explores that path. On that note, Christine, you do teach past life regression courses, so I guess I'd like to know a little bit more about what's involved in a course, the length and what one could expect if they wanted to sign up.
Yes, I think for all the people who are already practitioners like you and me, Reiki masters or other practitioners, if they have a passion, if they have an interest in knowing more about the soul and supporting their clients to know a bit more about themselves or sometimes to heal some unresolved issues, becoming a past life practitioner is fascinating. So what's involved? It's a 6 days course that involves 2 days online with a lot of materials, lot of videos and examples, really all the text about it, about past life regression and learning how to guide an induction with hypnotherapy, which is deep enough for people to really go into this deep part of their subconscious where they can access all these past lives. And then there are 4 days live of training where people work with me. And it's really hands-on practice. So it's practicing the hypnotherapy induction. It's practicing as a practitioner and also as a client, having a past life regression and guiding a past life regression. And then the last 2 days is about soul regression, which is really the life in between lives. So exploring deeper what happens when we are in the kingdom of the souls. And then there is really a constant support, which means that either me or Lorna and John Jackson, who are my teachers and I work with them closely. And so any questions, help people to start their practice and to have an accredited diploma, they need to send me back 3 full, past life regression therapy and soul regression therapy that they have been doing on different people. So yeah, it's a very complete process. That's what I did in 2013. And actually I was so fascinated. I gained so much of the course with Lorna and John that, yeah, as soon as I did my 2014. So yeah, if people are fascinated by that, I really encourage them to move forward because it's a very high in demand, really, therapy. Lots of people feel a call, when they are already on the path. So if they encounter some problem that are difficult to resolve, they are looking for past lives. And it's good to be able to support our clients and to sometimes uncover what the problem, the issue was.
It's holding you back. So with the 2 days online, is that self-taught? Or is it kind of
Yeah, well,
online
it's
live, I
you
suppose?
have a lot of videos and questionnaires and quiz. people can do it at their own, in their own time. So you don't have to,
Right.
to follow a group or whatever. It's really your individual work. So, because some people are like you and me working full time, and they will do a couple of hours at night, which is, very often what they do, or they will immerse
Yeah.
themselves 2 full days. And then when they are ready, so I teach basically the 4 days live every couple of months, so they can join one of these courses.
Is
And
that retreat
also,
style? Is that
yeah, well, they come.
or
Yeah, I have people like I'm teaching at the end of August, and I have people coming from
Yep.
Sydney, from different parts, and
Mhm.
some of them actually will stay at my place because I am
Yeah.
lucky to have a big house and sometimes to host retreats, and so I have different accommodation bedrooms available. So yeah, it can be a deep immersion, but I have also local people
Mm.
will come for the day and just go back home, come the next day. So again, it's really, it really helps for
Flexible.
everyone to find their own path. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. And so if anybody wanted to, take you up on this offer of your retreats or sorry, your courses, or even just learn more, take a deeper dive into past life regression, how could they do that?
So they can contact me. They can visit my website and send me a message. So the website is livinginspired.com.au. And then we go from there. So I work from the Sunshine Coast, but my teachers are working from the Gold Coast. You have people doing the same kind of work a bit everywhere. For the courses, we are not that many to do it, the live training. So there are people doing it in Singapore, in other part of the world. But, as I said, I host people coming a bit from everywhere. So, and I can, if people are looking for something special, I can help them.
Awesome. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link your website. So below our video, when it's posted, there'll be all the transcripts. So I'll place a link there for anybody
Perfect.
who wants to take a look and take a deeper dive. And I think that's it. I think, we've covered all that we can cover, to kind of get the basics and really understand past life regression. I'm certainly interested. I think I've learned a lot this episode, and I'm definitely keen to have a go. I think you'll find me
Yeah.
at some point.
It's, it's,
Yeah.
it's really fascinating. It's fascinating. And myself, when I have a chance to be the client, I take it
Mhm.
because you never know what to expect. And it's always fascinating. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's fabulous. I had past lives in ancient Egypt, and I gave my name and the name of the people around me and the name of the place. And then I
Wow.
just went to Google and started to ask questions, and I was, oh my God.
Mm,
So yeah, it's blowing. It's really,
I
but
bet.
it's not, it's really gives you something. So for me, it was bringing back the awareness that the work I'm doing, I did it before. Also, soul family, soulmates that are so important. Yeah, I could add also that from time to time, I do online and, in-person group past life regression. So it's
Okay.
a bit shorter, and it's nothing like a one-on-one session, which can last 3 hours. So it's more around 45 minutes, 1 hour. But it can be, a good first experience. And I did it recently at the Conscious Life Wellness Day. And I had a
Oh,
group
yeah.
of around 25, 30 people. And it was really quite, the feedback was fabulous. I still have people writing to me. It was just 1 month ago telling me, yeah, I saw this and I would like to know more. So yeah, it can be a good way to have a try.
Yeah, definitely. And just to clarify, that one that you do, kind of the online little taster, that's the actual participating in the past life regression. To do the course
Yeah.
to teach, you would have to do the full kind of 2 days online and 4 days in person.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's very different. It's
Yeah.
more for people who would like to do a session, 3 hour session
Yeah.
individual, but it's just a tester of feeling the induction and visiting, having really a glimpse of what it is to go through a past life and maybe connect with a soulmate, which is, questions that come back very often. Uh, yeah, people ask how many
Well,
times I
I'm
have
very
been to,
intrigued.
with my wife or with my husband or with
Yeah.
this, man who, left me this in this life. Yeah, it's fascinating. Lots to
Well,
learn.
thank you very much, Christine. Yeah, it's
You're
been a
welcome,
pleasure to
and
have
it
you
was,
on today. There's lots to learn,
lots
lots to
of,
think about. And
yeah,
like I said, I'll put all the links at the bottom for everyone who'd like to learn more and they can reach out.
beautiful. Lovely to talk to you and share, my passion for past life, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Thanks for joining me on the Holistic Health Show. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe now and get ready to embark on an incredible journey toward holistic wellness. Until next time, be well and stay holistic.